All right, folks, Christina here. We have made it to pause and practice 3, so Excel 1-3. And for this pause and practice, you'll need your previous file, which is Excel 1-2. I have not saved mine to the correct file yet, so don't pay any attention to my misnamed file up top. You know what you're supposed to have yours named, so you should be all good there. Okay, so the first thing it asks us to do on step 3 is select the rental days worksheet. And we have those two that we made in 1-2. So we're going to select rental days. And in step 4, you're going to be using the name box and the go-to command to locate some data. Now, one thing I noticed in class is on some laptops, the F5 key, which is what we're going to be using in just a moment, may not work for you. You may have to hit Shift and F5, Control and F5. So if you have a laptop, if you're working on something different than the lab computers, you may just need to figure out how do you activate your function keys. So let's take a look at step 4. It says click on the name box, type D5, and press enter. Well, the name box we remember is up at the left. I'm going to press D5 and then enter. And it says type 6 in cell D5 and then press enter, not 9. I typed the wrong number. Okay, 6 and then press enter. And then in step C, it says, okay, now press F5 and that's going to open your go-to box. And we're going to type in there that reference. Let me just type that for you. A8, 2, that's our colon, C8, and then we're going to click OK. Now, you can see that I have now those 3 columns are highlighted. If the F5 key doesn't work on your laptop or your keyboard, no worries. You can just type that in your in your name box up at the top left. You can type that cell range, hit enter, and you'll get to the same exact place that we are right here. Okay, next in step 5, it tells us to select cell A5. So again, these are just steps that are kind of showing you some things. We're not really doing a lot just yet. And letter B tells us we're going to click the Find and Select button, which is in our editing group on the Home tab. That's all the way over to the right. So when we click Find and Select, then we're going to click Find. And when the box asks us, what do we want to find, we're going to type 33. And then we're going to click the Options button. And we're going to verify that all the options are sheet, by rows, and formulas. So we've got sheet, by rows, and formulas. We've confirmed that that's correct. So on letter F, we're going to click Find All. And it basically just does a little pop-up that says, hey, we couldn't find anything. We couldn't find what you were looking for. That's normal. You're doing exactly the right thing. So we're going to just click OK. And the reason that you would want to know how to do this in a larger spreadsheet is so that you don't have to just look in column after column and row after row of data. You can find something, you can find and replace something. So that's why they're having you do this in this pause and practice. All right, let's see here. So next we clicked OK to close that message box for step G. And then step 8 says change the lock in option in the find and replace dialog box to values. So what we're going to, or look in, I said lock in, sorry folks. So we're going to change now look in, and we're going to change that to values. Then we're going to click find all, and you'll see now we have something showing up. Cells H5 and H7 are found. So we're going to select on our sheet, I'm just going to move this box out of the way a little bit. We're going to select cell G5, so G and 5, and we're going to type 10. And then we're going to select cell G7, and we're going to type 8 and press enter. And then we're going to click find all again. So we didn't really change anything over here. Let's click find all. And then we see that we have nothing here. I'm going to double check what I entered real quick. So one moment, I'm going to pause. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that I entered my data in the right cells. So we are good to go. We didn't find any values of 33 in our sheet. So step M says we can close the message box, and that removes that from our screen. Okay, next up on step number 6, we're going to enter some properties to our document. And we did this in Word, but it'll look a little bit different in Excel. So we're going to click the File tab and then we're going to choose Info. So up at the top left of our screen, I'm going to choose File and then I'm going to click Info. And we're going to click Show All Properties down at the bottom, kind of in the middle of the screen. And on our title, we're going to type PP Excel 1-3. And then in the status, we're going to type draft. And you can imagine why this would be important if a group of folks were working on a document. In the subject, we're going to type rental days by property. And then we're going to click show fewer properties. And then we're going to return to our worksheet. Now, to get back to our worksheet, all we have to do up at the top left is click that little back arrow. And our properties are automatically updated for us. Next, we're going to go on to step number 7, which is on the next page, and we're going to look at adding a header and a footer to grouped sheets. All right, so our instructions on step 7 say to press the Control key and then click the next period tab. So we're in our rental days sheet. I'm going to hold down my Control key on my keyboard and I'm going to click the next period. Then I'm going to click my header and footer button, which is on the Insert tab. Let me just do that real quick. I don't think it took for me. Perfect. So on your Insert tab, when you click it, you can see like, oh my gosh, everything is grayed out. That's because we're working with two sheets right now. We've got them both selected, but you should be able to click your header and footer over on the right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click the right section of the header area in the page layout view. So you can see we have a left section, a center section, and a right section. And then we're going to click the sheet name button, and this is in the header and footer elements group. Boy, that was a tongue twister. And so we're going to take a moment and do that step to get. All right, so that sheet name is just in our header and footer elements right here at the top. So I'm going to click that sheet name. And then when we do that, you'll see it says and then parentheses with a tab. Then I'm going to click the Go to Footer button, which is here in the navigation. And then I'm going to click the File Name button, which is under your Header and Footer tab and your Header and Footer elements. So again, I'm just going to click File Name here. And you can see that says and then File is in brackets. Next, I'm going to select cell A1 and click the Normal View button in the status bar. So we're going to go up to our name box here, and we're going to choose A1. All right, so we're in our A1 cell, and next it tells us to click the Normal View button in the status bar, and our worksheets are still grouped. All right, so we're going to click normal there. We're still grouped. Next, we're going to change our page setup options for grouped sheets, and this is going to be in step number 8 for us. All right, so what we're going to do is in step 8, we're going to click the page layout tab. And keep in mind, we're looking for the layout on the tab we were just on. There is a page layout there, but we're looking for the tabs up top. Then we're going to click the orientation, which is right under the layout tab. And we're going to select landscape. So that's going to change the orientation of our page. Then we're going to click File and Print to just basically preview what's going to show up on our document. And you can see from this picture, we've got our sheet title and we've got our information down at the bottom. So we're going to click the next page arrow at the bottom of our screen. So down here at the very bottom, you can see we can take it over to page number 2 here, or back to page number 1. We're just looking at the information just to verify those. And we're going to click the previous page arrow to return to the rental days sheet. So get us back to rental days. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on our margins. So over on the left, we're going to click the normal margins in that settings area, which is right here. So let's click normal margins. And then we're going to choose custom margins. And then we're going to select the horizontally when we center this on the page. And so when I click OK, let me move this out of the way a bit. I want you to watch what happens to our print preview. It centers what we've got on our page there. So after we do that, we're going to click OK to return to the preview, which we did. We're going to do the next page arrow so that we get to the next period sheet. Perfect. And then we're going to, let's see here, return to the worksheet and right click next period to ungroup. Okay, perfect. So let's do that. We're going to return to our worksheet, which is the little back arrow here. And then we're going to ungroup our sheets for ourselves. All right, so now that we are back on our sheets, our instructions tell us that we're going to right click the next period sheet down at the bottom. So we'll right click that, and then you can see we've got an option to ungroup our sheets here. And what that's going to do is it's going to essentially separate them so that they're no longer grouped together. And after that, you are good to go to save your pause and practice 1-3, and that will finish it up for us. Good job, everybody.